Well, good morning, good afternoon, good evening around the world. My name is Ann Feinstein. I want to welcome all of you to our Saturday super training here with our Zealous team. Excited to see all the new faces, people calling in from all over. We're excited today. We have a super amazing lady with us who's going to be sharing some in-depth, deep sights and insight perspective, as she is a 30-year veteran in our network marketing profession. She's become a wonderful friend to many of us, is recognized as one of the top 10% for business development and income in 2 network marketing companies. And she's developed, trained, and motivated teams in over 30 countries, guys. So I hope you grab a piece of paper and a pen, and you're going to take some wonderful notes today as I turn it over to my friend, Deborah Gebhardt. Deborah, over to you.
Thank you so much, Ann, and Chris and Maynard for that amazing music this morning and that warm-up. It's great to be here. So hello to everybody, whether it's good morning or good afternoon, depending on where in the world you're calling in from. I am really excited to share with you today because we have so many amazing things coming together with Zealous. And with all the years in the industry, and Ann can also comment on that. She's a veteran in the industry, Tim and several others, that we have seen a lot of things over the years, and what is setting up with Zealous is unlike anything that I've experienced in the past or seen. And I really believe that this is the greatest story that is being written right now in networking. And what's really exciting is that you guys are here and you're positioned amazing. You have a position that people would literally give their right arm for. So what I want to share with you and talk about today is going to be intentional building. It's going to be building your business with intention and how to go about doing that. So we're going to talk a little bit strategy, and we're also going to talk a little bit mindset. I've always been very heavy in mindset and personal growth. And, that comes from a lot of years of experience in both the sports arena and also in networking. And, having worked with literally hundreds and thousands of people that are really talented, very educated, very passionate, very excited, and really wanting to accomplish things. And, when I first got started, it really used to bother me as to why is it that some people have all these amazing attributes and then they really just don't get off the starting line or, they get these little false starts and then they kind of have a hiccup and then they stop, while somebody who you think, probably isn't going to do it ends up being the one who, goes all the way to the top and makes the 7 or 8 figures. So I don't know if any of you have experienced that in your time in networking, but I can tell you, if you haven't, you will. And but there's some really interesting things that we can do about that really do make a difference once you understand the psychology behind it. So, what I want to share before we get started is networking it's just so big, and everybody was drawn to this for specific reasons. And I think there's a lot of parallels in building our business and in life, in the way that life should work or was intended to, with cooperation and really working together to really help everybody to lift, to rise up. And, what I want to share with you are the 3 aspects of fulfillment, because there's been a lot of research and a lot of talk about this over decades and decades. And, we've had philosophers and psychologists and scientists and all kinds of people studying and analyzing and, doing meta-analysis regarding this. And here's what it boils down to. Here's what they've discovered is that the 3 aspects of fulfillment and what many people are looking for and searching for throughout their lifetime, but really don't have the concept. They don't really ever recognize what it is they're looking for. So for many people, that fulfillment is elusive and they spend their whole lifetime searching for it. But those 3 things are, number 1, most important, is human experiences. And for all of us, this is a really important and critical aspect of life. and of just bringing us to a place where we feel whole, where we feel good about us and interacting in the world. So, ask yourself, what experiences do you really want in life? And I'll also give you a little hint that these experiences typically are not connected. They're not connected to money. So, it could be the experience of, watching the sunrise at the ocean, or sunset, or, relationships, or, interaction, doing something with the earth, planting. It could be any number of things. And for everybody, that's going to be something different. The second one is really about, how do I want to grow? The second aspect of fulfillment is all about growth and evolving. So as humans, we're always learning, we're always growing, but it's really difficult for us because we also really enjoy our comfort zones. And so that really can end up being a trap, where we end up being sort of imprisoned in our own minds, because we know we want to step outside of that comfort zone, that we want to experience something new and something different in our life, something better. But yet, we have that fear. And sometimes we step outside, we get a taste of growth. It might be a little intimidating, or sometimes it might not meet our expectations. And, our tendency is to want to go back to where we're comfortable. But we're never going to truly feel whole and feel fulfilled without that growth and without evolving as people, as humans, as beings throughout our lifetime. So this is a lifelong process. It's a journey. The third aspect of fulfillment that I want to share with you today is, it's really how to push humanity forward. And it's more about, what can I give back to the world? People feel good when they share. People, I believe most people are really good inside, and that people care about people and they want to help. They want to make a difference. And it's been demonstrated over and over in many studies and analysis that contribution, and coming from a place of contribution where you don't have anything to gain, is another aspect of fulfillment. So, I want you to think about those three things, because when I first read the study and I was looking at this and really started to understand and ponder it, I realized that every one of those aspects that we just shared this morning can be fulfilled through the vehicle of network marketing. And, network marketing is truly amazing. For me, it's not just a business, it's a passion. And it's really a passion to help raise the consciousness of other people, to show them, to help them to overcome their past conditioning, so that they can realize how amazing they are, how much they are really creators in their own life, and how much power they have to be able to manifest and create what you really desire in your life. And, for me, that's what moves me to get up and to do this business and to still be doing it, beyond the 3 decades that Ian mentioned at the beginning. But it's really, and when you're doing it right, all of these pieces are really part of the journey. And I think that's what attracts and what draws so many people to our business. And, I want you to just notice, some of you might have come across and worked with some people that are really difficult, or, who don't have that mindset. They really are just care about themselves and don't care about other people. If you really notice and you pay attention, this business kind of weeds that out. It either weeds them out because they're not getting their fulfillment here. It's not going to work for them, or it changes them. It changes their heart. It changes their mind, because we're able to draw them into a better way of being, and they can recognize it. So it's about timing, and are you at a point in your life where you're able to see that and where you can actually take action on it? So most of us, we can all think about things that make us feel good, right? And people are looking to be happy. People want to feel good. There's 2 basic ways that you can do that. And, the first way is to gratify yourself. And, it's about having pleasure now and it's about paying later. So for example, I'm going to I would have felt really good sleeping in today. And that would have been a really good thing. Exactly. Ann's going, yeah. But, and that would have been immediate gratification, but of course I would have had to pay a price for that, right? And it would have been a big price today. But, and some people, and there's nothing wrong with acquiring or getting things. I think, that's a part of life and a journey. And, we should enjoy and have also rewards from our labors. But if you're seeking things to bring you happiness and to bring you fulfillment, it's going to be elusive because those things will last a few months. And you're going to love them and you're going to enjoy them and you're going to think it's the greatest thing you did. And then after a few months, you're going to realize, is that all there is? And you'll be looking for something else. Has anybody had that experience? Yes. Okay. I see some heads. So good. So most people here get that already. The other path that you can take is the path of fulfillment. And that path is effort now and then pleasure later. And so, it's really important for you as you're building your business to understand and for you to prioritize. So we all know that people get into business for bottom line. They want to make money. Some of you might have come into the business because you were drawn to the product. And then when you realized that there was a financial aspect attached to the product, that got your interest and you decided to build a business as well. But you really want to know what your priorities are. What along the aspects of fulfillment are you looking for and what are you willing to do in order to get what you want from your business? So prioritize that before you get started so you know what you want. And then it's about activity. After you know what it is that you want, it's just a matter of getting to the activities that are going to get you there and then to be consistent with them. Because I'm going to tell you a secret. This is not difficult. It might not be easy because you have to be disciplined and consistent, but it's not difficult. Anybody, absolutely anybody can do this. Anybody can really have the life that they want and create it, actually intentionally create it. See, a lot of us go by there's a law, cause and effect. And many of us, myself included, for a long time, lived at effect rather than cause. And what I mean by that is, when I was first building my business initially, I didn't understand how to do it with intention and how to drive it to have the outcome and to manifest what I really wanted. I really thought that, it was not in my hands. It was not in my control, that it was, it was about everybody external to me. It was about the company. And did the company have the right, products and the right people at the top and the compensation plan? It was about the people that I was bringing in or talking to. So at that time, everything was about effect. It was like, if I was going to move forward, it was going to be because they all did what they needed to do. And, for me, it was going to be that's just going to happen. So it's going to happen when it's going to happen. And, we're all at different places in our journey. We're all having different experiences. And, we all need to learn and evolve and grow in different ways. So for some of you, you're going to be beyond this. For some of you, this is going to be, maybe scary or new. And, for some people, you might be at that point where you're just really starting to click and to understand that. And, this business is really going to show you a lot about you, more about you than almost anything else you can do. And, during doing that and really working with other people, I learned that I really am the person who's responsible. You're responsible for what you do. It has nothing to do with the people that you bring in. It has nothing to do with zealous and, is everything working perfectly in the back office? Or, do we have 10 products? Or, is shipping going out on time? Those are all external factors. And the answer is never external. The answer is internal. It's inside you. The answer is inside you. The answer is inside you. Repeat that to yourself and just know that you are the solution to everything you want in your life. It is not somebody else. It's you. You're the solution. So what do you really want, and what is it that you're willing to do to get there? And what I want to do is I want to share with you today some concepts and some strategies that you can use that's going to put you at cause, which means you're going to be intentionally creating and manifesting what you want in your business. You're not going to be just sitting back waiting for people to do and to, catch up to speed and to get to a place where, they're creating and they're moving forward in business. So that helps you. Does that make sense? Just kind of give me a 1 if you get that in the chat. Okay, good. So this is about you being at cause and being the cause of moving your business forward with intention. So once you understand exactly what it is you want, then all it is about, it's so simple. We complicate it. I'm going to have to admit the truth, and I'm embarrassed to admit it almost, but I was the worst. I complicated things like you have no idea. I had a gazillion questions. I wanted to do everything my way. And you know what I found out after I banged my head against the wall for, a couple of years, that's when it dawned on me, maybe I really am not going about this the right way. So let's take a look. One of the concepts I want to share with you today is going to be about driving the line and about how you can really, how powerful you can be in driving your business and not sitting back, waiting for people that you introduce and that you bring in to really start connecting, to get it, to move your business forward, because that's what a lot of us do. And that's what I did in the beginning. So I'm going to do screen share here, and I'm going to try something I haven't done before. So I hope this is going to work out okay. I noticed the other day on Zoom that there's actually a whiteboard. And so I'm going to go with whiteboard because I don't have slides, but I want you to get a visual. So let's give this a shot here. And what I'm going to try to do is, let's go with, okay, you guys can see that, right? So we have success. Yay, we did something with intention that worked. So, okay, so let's go 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so let's say this is you. So when you come into your business and you're getting started, we're all given a tree. We're all given a tree, which is kind of like, I like to use the analogy, it's our family. We're the head of the family, and we've got the branches that are growing off the tree, and so that's going to be our offspring. So anyway, you can think of it any way you like. So we have 2 sides. We have obviously a shared leg, and we have a personal leg. So I also want to share with you a couple of aspects of our compensation plan that are really powerful as well, so that you really get this. But and I see somebody's putting old school, a blackboard. Yeah, I'm from that old school demographic, believe it or not, where when I started, we still were using actually cassette tapes to share the business. I know, nobody repeat that, because I'm going to absolutely deny it, but that's the truth. That's the God's honest truth. We started with cassette tapes, and there was no internet. But so if I could do that back then with that, and Ann could, and Tim could, and many other people, believe me, today, this is just a no-brainer. But okay, so you come in, and what most books are going to teach you in networking is that you sponsor, let's say you sponsor Sarah, So we put Sarah in here. And now most books are going to teach you to teach Sarah, the business, what to do. And Sarah's going to get going. And then Sarah is going to, introduce Sam. And she's going to teach and train Sam. And then, maybe Sam's going to bring in Jill. And then Sam's going to teach Jill. Okay, so does this sound like what most of you are familiar with? Is that the scenario that most of you are familiar with? That, it's a teaching business, that you teach your personally sponsored and you teach them everything you know, and then they teach their person, and it keeps going down the line. So for how many people do it that way? I'm just curious. So just maybe give me a 1 in the chat box. Okay, so quite a few people I'm seeing that's the scenario. Okay, well, you're gonna absolutely love this, because when you do it that way, you are sitting back waiting for the people that you bring underneath you to actually catch up to speed and get engaged in the business. So how many people, have kind of twirled their thumbs for a couple of months waiting for that to happen? Yes, for anyone? Yes. Okay. Yep. Okay. I see some good things in the chat here. So, okay, I did it that way. And here's what I found out, and the books do tell you this way, but a lot of people that write the books actually didn't build the business. And so you have to qualify that when you read a book. Did they actually build the business? Or, did they just get really good at the information and now they're putting that out there? Because in a theoretical world, that is a perfect thing. It sounds wonderful. You bring in Sarah, teach Sarah the business. Now Sarah goes and gets Sam and she teaches him, and, so on and so on. It duplicates down the line. In a theoretical world, that is beautiful. But we don't live in a theoretical world. We live in a real world. And what's going to happen in this scenario is that, any number of things are going to happen that's going to break down the communication. It's going to break down the momentum in what you've started with Sarah. And you're going to be sitting back waiting for things to happen rather than being at cause and making things happen. So in this scenario, you're at effect. You have no control. You're waiting for all these people to learn, to understand, to get comfortable and confident, to get engaged, and to start having success. So what I'm going to suggest to you is that you don't do that. You actually drive it. And so here's the way I learned to do it. And here's the technique that changed my business and that changed it for me with the last 2 companies that I built. This is what made a big difference. Is I worked with Sarah, and rather than teach Sarah everything that I know and teach her the whole business, I teach her through examples. So I get Sarah to put down, her 5 best people. She goes through her list like, everybody does. And in today's environment, we have the app. And the app is going to do a lot of the heavy lifting for you, by the way. So if you're doing the app, a lot of the questions, a lot of the things, everything you need to do about, objections, about presenting, about teaching, training is going to be in the app. So it's going to make you a lot more effective. But what I still like to do is I still like to get Sarah to give me to create her list, upload it to the app, but then I want her on the side to write down her 5 best people. And I tell her, Sarah, you're in business. You're starting a big business here. There are people that do multi 8 figures in this. This is for real. So I want you to think about who are the people that you would want as your vice presidents. So you're the president. This is your company. You're running this company. Who do you want? Who are your 5 best people? So of course, you're going to put people in, Sarah's going to be thinking about people that are really driven, people that, maybe are very likable, people that are cooperative and that other people like. She'll be thinking about people that have big circles of influence. So, those are the kinds of people that I'll kind of jar her, trigger her, that those are the people that I want to work with you. I'm going to call these people and we're going to talk together. Are we going to use the egg? Absolutely, because that's going to take a lot of the work out of it. So we're going to use the egg for the tools and information, but I'm not going to leave her. I'm not going to teach her everything and then tell her, go do this. And, and then just do this with your next person. I'm going to handhold her through it, not babysit. There's a difference. So once I get Sarah's, go through these people with Sarah, the next thing that I want you to see here is I'm driving and I'm talking to her 5 vice presidents. And, let's say through them, we get Sam. So we signed Sam in, and I've done this together with Sarah. So Sarah learned the process through example. I didn't tell her what to do and teach her. I did it with her. So she got to physically see it working and see it in action. And she saw the process. She was part of the process. At this point, Sarah is still not comfortable to do the work and she's not competent enough yet. To really go ahead and be the one to do all of that with Sam. So what I do, and this is my technique, this is what I like to do, you may have leaders that may do something different, and, whatever is working for you out there, if you already have a process or a system and it's working, then stay with it. You just need to stay on course. But, a lot of people are going to find that this is going to put you in the driver's seat and move your business forward faster. So, what I do is now I do the same thing that I did with Sarah, only I do it with Sam. And I keep Sarah on the phone. So I don't circumvent her. I don't eliminate her and just connect with Sam. The reason for that is because when Sarah is on the phone and she's hearing this all again, I am reinforcing everything that I just taught her. Everything I just taught Sarah, she is being reinforced so that she can see, not by my words, that, hey, Sarah, it's easy, just do what I did with you. I'm not telling her, I'm showing her. And so that makes a huge difference. Sarah's starting to get more confident. And in doing that, I know that Sam is getting the right information. Sam's getting the right start because I'm driving that and I'm working with Sarah to get Sam and to teach Sam. And so, what do we do from there? Well, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to teach Sam, to go ahead and get his list uploaded into the egg and to get all his contacts there. And we're going to tell Sam, what's your 5 vice presidents? Who would you want them to be? And, we're going to tell them who to look for. And now with Sarah, we're going to be doing the same thing. Now we're going to drive through Sam's people and we're going to talk to them to surface and to find Jill. And so in doing that, I'm not sitting back waiting because, if I didn't do this with Sarah and get her first 5 vice presidents and actually get on the phone and do it with her, she, number one, is I know psychologically that even if Sarah is brilliant and she's talented, I know that she's never done this before. So I know something about how she's thinking and feeling because I've been there and I've done it. And I've worked with a lot of other people that have. She's feeling like she doesn't want to compromise her credibility. She wants to make sure the people she's talking to are being taken care of and treated well. She doesn't want to look foolish in front of her friends and family. She doesn't want to look like she doesn't know what she's talking about or she doesn't know what she's doing. Some people are perfectionists and they want to get everything right. And, I was one of those people and, maybe some of you can relate to that, but it's a double-edged sword because when you're like that, you will always find a reason why something is not perfect and you're going to just delay. And, you're going to be still 3 months from now thinking, wow, I still don't know everything. What if somebody asked me a question about, the compensation plan or some aspect of it, and I don't know what to tell them? Don't worry about it. That's it's not going to happen. So by working directly with her and through her first 5 people, I'm training her the right way to do it. And I'm getting her people to get the information the right way also. It's building confidence because they're seeing the process in action and they're not doing it by themselves. That's a really important thing. I don't leave anyone new to do it by themselves because of fear, because of dream stealers, because of that, you know, the need that humans have to feel like we're going to do a good job and that, you know, we're going to give value to the person. We're not going to mess up. We're afraid about messing up. And okay, so I'm going to go through a rabbit hole here. One quick little thing, because that came out and I want to tell you. People are always asking, what do I say? And I hear this every single day. Well, I have this great person, but what do I say? Okay, is that what, do you think that way? Is that what most of you hear? Is the biggest question for most people getting started, what do I say? Okay, so here's something I want to burn into your brain. It is not it's the wrong question to ask, number one, okay? The question isn't, what do I say? The question is, what do I ask? Because it's about them. It's not about you. You don't want to get on there and you don't want to be telling them all about you. They are going to buy and they're going to join for their reasons, not yours. And if you're not asking questions, and I call these questions discovery questions, if you're not asking the right questions when objections come up or when they have questions or concerns, you have nowhere to go because you don't know anything about them. And I'm just going to give you one little tip and secret here, and we're going to go back to driving the line. But another reason that you really want to be asking questions and you want to get them to do the talking is psychologically, and this is really important when you're working with people to understand, is that when people are self-revealing, they're getting a dopamine hit and they feel good. People feel good about talking and sharing about them because they want you to understand them. People like people, right? And they want you to understand them. And so in doing that, in asking questions, but specific questions, you're asking questions that are, you know, you want to ask the least amount of questions that you can to get the most information you can to help people to either close them to the business or the product. So, you know, we can do that some other time. But anyway, so getting back to the driving the line scenario, I will continue this process until I find somebody in the line that I'm driving with. Oops, and I just threw my little instrument here, that I find is really got it. They really click with it. You know, and it might not be Sarah, you know, maybe it's going to be Jill. You know, maybe Jill's going to be the one that you're going to go, wow, you know, just give her the information and step out of the way because she's going to blow past you. And you want that. You want to see that happen in your line. You want to see that happen as you're building your business. So at that point, what I do is I will lock onto that person. Okay. So I've driven through everybody's line here and I've helped them. And that's a good thing because as you're doing this, you're also putting money in everybody's business. So, you know, there's a phenomenon and whoops, I got to be careful how I draw. There's a phenomenon here known as up motivation in networking. And I want you to burn another thing into your brain. The solution to everything is talking to people. Our product, believe it or not, is people. It's not business. It's not spirulina. It's not weight loss. Our product is people. So when you put money, when you help Sam, Jill, and you're doing this down the line, you're putting money in everybody's business. That's called up motivation because people get excited when they see people coming in. So if you've got nothing happening in your group, nobody's excited, everybody's kind of sitting on their hands and not doing anything, then it's really important for you to look at what are you doing because you're the example and most people are going to follow the example. We teach other people more by what we do, believe it or not, than what we say. And so the answer is, how many people did you bring in? How many people have you talked to? How many people did you bring in? And, if the answer is 0, then, that's what's happening in your group. It's a business of duplication. So you're duplicating yourself. So the solution is not to, not to teach more, not to do more training. It's going to be to bring more people into the opportunity and put more people into the business of everybody that you've brought in and light that line up. You want to create that excitement, and you want to get people, interested and excited that they've got something to lose now. Because if they walk away from this, they've got all this money in this line here, and this is rolling out. So, and now what I want to share with you here too is there's actually 2 ways to build. Okay. I want you to understand the difference between security and wealth. This was something that I learned really early on. And one of the aspects our compensation plan is beautiful for you to get this and to understand this. So most people are looking for security. Most people want to know and want to feel confident that, they're going to be secure, financially, for themselves and for their family. And, I get that. That makes sense. I mean, we all want that. So I want you to understand that there is security with depth. Now, when I'm talking depth, I'm talking about these lines that we're drawing. And, even though this looks like one line, that this is going to be many. This is just the first person that you sponsored. So this was your personal in here. And, other people may not be your personally sponsored, but every line is, it's a line. And as it rolls out, there's going to be more security. So there's security with depth, because that means that residual and that team commission is going to go on indefinitely. And it's really nice to know that that's there. For a lot of people, that's going to be all they need. For a lot of people, that's going to bring them more money than they ever dreamed possible in their life once these lines roll out. But I want to share another concept with you that is really exciting. And I don't know a company that does it better than Zealous. And that's the wealth factor. So while there's security with depth in driving your lines and building your team commissions in the binary, that's the binary aspect, you're going to make great money. Some people, it will be money they've never seen before in their life. There is even more wealth with width. So what do I mean by that? And how does that apply to our compensation plan? So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to take the eraser and get rid of this diagram. And I'm going to show you another diagram. Okay. And this is what I call 4x3. Oops. I guess that's not going to work until okay, there we go. Okay. So let's do it with the thick. Okay. So what? Oh, that is not what I want to do. Okay, so it's going to be a, let's see. This is too funny. Okay, so let me just try to undo and see if I can go back and get this right. Okay, we're going to try it one more time, and then we're going to go on to, we'll do something else. Okay, so okay, I think this is somewhat working. Okay. Can you guys see that okay? Okay, so you can see 4 across and 3 down. Okay, another thing is, a lot of people want to work one at a time, especially in the beginning. I did, because I felt overwhelmed. I felt like, oh my gosh, there's just so much here. But if you're really teaming up and you're working with your sponsor to drive through the lines and you're leaning on the egg to do all the heavy lifting, you don't want, you want to break out of that mindset of doing one at a time. And here's why. And I want you to get this, and I want you to put this down on paper too. Write this down. It's really important. What you do today, the recruiting and the talking to people you do today, is going to produce or will be productive for you over the next 90 days. So you may or you may not see results from that immediately, because people are going to be like in what we call the funnel. At different points, people will be looking at the information. They'll be thinking about the information, then you'll have some people that will be signing in. Then you'll have some that are going to, be getting started. But, this is a process that evolves over time. So, I understand that if I bring somebody in today and I'm working with somebody today, I'm feeling like it's going to evolve and it's going to take shape and it's going to produce fruit over the next 90 days. So if I'm just working with one person at a time, and that one person is going to produce fruit over the next 90 days, then that means that I'm building super, super slow, because I'm only bringing in one person, like every 3 months or every 4 months, right? So what I learned a technique called, 4x3, and that's working with 4 people, at a time. And now I told you earlier that there's security with depth, right? So how do you know that your line is secure? How do you know that you can walk away from it and it's not going to unravel? Because all of us, every single one, has brought people in. We've taught them. Maybe they've brought in 1 person or 2 person and then stopped, right? You've had that experience. So if that's what you're doing, your line isn't secure, even if you have 3 people in it. So here's what I recommend is that, you drive the lines like I showed you in the first diagram, and you keep going through the lines until you feel you pull up the gold ships like Jill, and you teach them, you get them to become a ruby. Because once they're a ruby, that's going to be solid. They're going to be solid until they're a ruby. When you're a bronze, when you're a silver, you're doing okay. And, you're growing and expanding, but, you're probably not going to be making enough to really hold you in there. And for some people to transition, into doing this as a full-time business. So I like to get people, and, I would recommend driving those lines till you get the ruby in that line. Now, your line is going to be secure when you have ruby over ruby over ruby. So if you've signed in, like you're personally sponsored, like in that other scenario, it was Sarah, and we drove through the line and we kept driving through her circle and through their circle and through their circle to keep getting their 5 vice presidents. I'm doing that, and I'm going to continue doing that until I pull up the 3 or identify the 3 that are going to get to ruby and drive them to ruby. I know that I can walk away from that line now, even though I'm not going to. I'm always going to be there and support and help them. But I know that I can walk away from that line. It's not going to unravel. That line is secure. And Ruby is 10,000, it's 10,000 PV per month. So, it's not unreasonable. It's not a hard goal to accomplish. And I'm just going to give you a super simple way of getting a Ruby. You don't even have to worry about, how many people do I need? How much, this, how much volume? Very simply, to get to Ruby, you need 2 goals. So if you develop 2 gold people in your line, and you get 2 people to gold, you're a ruby. It's super, super simple. We don't have to complicate it. And so once you have 3 in a line, you now have what I call security. So if you walk away, you don't have to worry. That line's not going to fall apart. It's going to keep going on without you. It will keep going. And that's what makes it so secure. So now let's talk about the thing we talked about called width and wealth. right? So you're thinking in your mind, well, how do you do with when we're in a binary? And what a lot of people don't get, and I don't want to confuse you, I'm going to keep this very basic and simple. If you have questions, you can ask later, is that we're really building two geometric progressions at the same time. We're building the binary and we're getting the team commissions, we're building depth, and that's weekly. But this process that I'm sharing with you, this 4x3, these are your personally sponsored people. So number one, in each one of these 4 people that you just personally sponsored, you're driving the lines, each one of the lines in the binary, so that you pull up, you get 3 people that are going to get to Ruby in each one of those lines. Now, okay, so in this diagram, we have Ruby, Ruby, Ruby of the people that you personally sponsored in 4 of them. What I want you to get, what I want you to understand is that it looks like there's nobody in between, but there's lots of people in between because we're not physically taking anybody out of the binary. So, you know, you may have, there may be 10 people between here and here that we don't see, okay? There could be 25 or 30 people between here and here, and they're at all different levels in all different places, but you've identified, here's the Ruby, here's the Ruby, here's the Ruby. So this diagram is just a compression of your binary. So all we did was compress out all the people who aren't at Ruby so that you could get a clear picture in your mind's eye that you've got Ruby over Ruby over Ruby, you're good. But here's the really cool thing, because you're building that geometric progression that's going to give you the security and the depth in your business through the binary and team commissions. But when you're doing this, because we have a match bonus, right? And there's not a lot of companies that have a matching bonus like this. But I want you to think of the matching bonus as a different geometric progression. Even though we're not physically removing any people from the binary, I want you in your mind's eye to realize that every person you personally sponsor is going to be also horizontal, right? Because that's how we're getting paid on the matching bonus. So, and how many people do you need? It doesn't matter. They're going to pay you to infinity on width. So that means you can personally sponsor as many people as you want to, and you can get a match bonus on as many people as you want to. There's no limits. And, you know, of course, they're going to go 7 levels deep, 7 generations. So that's going to give you tremendous wealth. You know, when you're talking about, you know, being able to get a 20, you know, let's say you've only got 3. If you've only got, if you're only 3, you've only got 3 levels, you're getting, you know, as a Ruby, you're getting paid on 3 levels of growth for width. You're going to get paid on 3 levels. And that's going to actually give you 25% on your first, which would be your first generation right here. That's 25%. That's huge. That is huge money. And, you know, I know, even if you hear this, I know some of you are still not going to get it until you actually build it out and see it happen. And you know what, that's okay. This is kind of really just planting seeds for you here. But, you know, as you grow and continue to grow, you're going to, you know, begin to see and understand more of these realities. And you're going to get, even if you're excited now, wait, you're going to get even more excited. I happen to know for a fact, Anne and Tim, they don't sleep at night. They're up, they're tossing and turning. Why? Because they're so excited, because they know all this, they get this, they know what we have with Zealous and where we're positioned. And, you know, all I could tell you is if the 3 of us could give you a pill that you could swallow, and that you could know and you could understand everything that we do. And what I mean by that is not even, I don't mean how to do it. I mean, if you could get the lifestyle, if you could get how this makes you feel and the fulfillment and what it means to you and how you feel in your life and how it impacts your family, your friends, the people you care about, I guarantee you there isn't a person on this call today that would not go through a brick wall to get it and to have that. So that's just something I really want to share with you, because until you really get there and see that, it's so much of it is really belief, and it's in between, your ears. And if you can overcome the obstacles and the distractions in your life, if you can prioritize and know what you want from this business, and if you can just stay consistent with that, I guarantee you, that this is not brain surgery. Anybody can do this, and you can have it. But it really is going to come down to, your inner talk, your inner self-talk. What do you tell yourself every day? Are you telling yourself, you don't know if it's for you? Are you telling yourself, well, I don't know, is Zealous gonna, get it all together? Or, I don't know. I don't know a lot of people. Your self-talk is going to dictate your activity level and what you do in this business. Because if you only partially think that you can do it, and if you're not sure about that and you don't have belief, you're not going to put 100% effort into it. It's just not going to happen. So that's why, for me, mindset, mental strength is number one. I've seen too many amazingly talented individuals not do anything because of external reasons, things that other people said to them in their life, feeling afraid to, to look like, oh, well, I'm the attorney and now I'm selling, health products. It's like, you've got to overcome those things. What are your priorities? What do you really want? What do you want? Because this can give you absolutely anything and everything that you want in your life, if you first identify and know what it is, and if you're just willing to do and work with the people, in your team that are having success. And you know who they are, who your sponsors are, who your leaders are, who the people are that have been there. To spend time with them, work together with them. If they were able to do it, you can do it too. And, it's really that simple. So I like to do the 4x3, and, I like to work with more people at a time. If in the beginning you really aren't comfortable with it, you can cut it down at 2. It's okay. But I would guarantee you that you're going to get up to speed and you're going to start getting comfortable with it pretty quickly. And as you see the process roll out, you're going to want to work with more people. You're going to want to keep filling your funnel because people, like I said, are going to be at all different levels in building. So drive this. You be the cause in your business. Drive your business and build your business with true intention. Don't just sit back and hope that you're going to get spillover. Don't sit back and hope that, the person you talked to today is going to, come in sometime this week or next week. You take the reign, you take the control of your business and drive it, make it happen. Work with people, help them until they get confident and competent. Now, in that first scenario, driving the line, after I've worked with Sarah a couple of times, after I've worked with her one time with Sam, the next time we talk with somebody, I let Sarah start doing parts of it. And there's a reason for that. I want to know that Sarah's engaging. I want to hear her doing it. She's got me there so she can feel comfortable. She's not worried about making a mistake because I can help her, but she's building confidence in herself. And I also can see that, okay, when the time is right and I let her go and do this next one on her own, I know she can do it because she's doing it in front of me. So, we're all confident and competent that this is going to continue and go on. So, I think we went on longer than what I actually thought this was going to. My intention, because the last couple of trainings we did together, they kind of went on for a long period of time, and we did a lot more in the realm of energy. But today I really wanted to cut it shorter, and I just wanted to give you some strategies as well as the mindset. But one of the things I'd like to do in the future is to go through the energetics of communication, because it's really important for everybody to realize that everything is energy. And, what we manifest is really a result of who and what we are and what we're putting out what is in us that is being put out into the field around us, and how we impact each other is, I mean, it's very scientific. There's a lot of science behind it. And that's the aspect I want to share with you, because that has so much to do with you know, how your energy and how you interact with people, because our product is people. It's all about people. So your energy is, and your mindset, your mental toughness is a really tough aspect. If you were to ask Ann, if you were to ask Tim, you know, yeah, it's important to have skills. Of course it is. You know, it's important to know techniques and strategies, sure. But if you didn't have that, but you had the mental toughness and you had the discipline, you would still find a way. You would still get there. You would do it, even if you knew nothing about the technique and the strategy. So, you know, when you combine all those things together, it's really powerful. But, you know, that's why I wanted to just kind of close with where we started, with the 3 acts, the aspects of fulfillment, because, you know, in truth, I find that this is a journey. It's a journey that reveals a lot about who we are and, you know, what we're made of, but we're constantly growing and evolving. So, you know, in the beginning, it's all about us, and it's about us learning and acquiring the skills and moving forward. But then as we begin to expand and we start doing more in our businesses, everybody evolves. We all grow again. And now it becomes about you being the leader, and now you are sharing, and, you know, you're doing this with your people and your team. So anyway, it's, to me, this really fulfills every aspect of fulfillment. And it's one of the things I love about networking. It gives you the opportunity to have as many human experiences as you could ever dream of. I'm sure you can have a few others outside of networking, but, you know, it also is going to fulfill that aspect of the need for growth and to evolve, because to get more, we have to be more. We've all heard that before. And so we are going to have to grow outside of ourselves and learn and do more. And, you know, and then the third aspect is about, you know, fulfillment is about giving back. And we're doing this on a daily basis as we're working with people. There's no better feeling in the world than working with people and knowing in some small way you're a small part of changing their life. And in the beginning, I'm going to tell you, you're not going to know, you probably won't know how much one thing you said is going to change another person's life completely around. But I can tell you that after 30 years in the industry and traveling the world, like many, you know, like Ann, like Tim, can also share the same things here, is that, you know, we've received letters and cards and notes from people that, I mean, they would just fill your heart. And, you know, you just never know, but it's really part of doing something that is so much bigger than us. And, you know, in the process of doing this and helping everybody else and teaching people, you know, a better way to live and a way to be financially and physically free and healthy and secure and changing lives, it all comes back to you. So everything that you give out, and in the beginning, you give out so much more than what it appears that you give back. And that's why some people, you know, they kind of get discouraged, and some people might not stay around long enough for the payday to take place. But if you've got the ability to hang in there, I'm going to tell you, you're going to get to a point, and you're going to see that absolutely when you get to Ruby. That's why I encourage people to get to Ruby. That's where most of the magic begins. That's where your lines are going to be very secure. They won't unravel. You won't have to build this over and over and over again. You know, in the first company I worked with, I built lines, they fell apart. I had to go back and build them again. They fell apart. I had to go back and build them again. They fell apart. But if you drive to the Ruby and you build Ruby over Ruby over Ruby, your line is never going to fall apart. You're going to be secure. You can move on with confidence and competence. And, you know, you can build this once, and then eventually, you know, everything that you could ever dream, whatever it is that you give out and you put out, I can tell you, and, you know, I wish Ann could get on here right now, and Tim and a few others that have built, and they could just impart to you how much comes back and how much comes back to you. and it's amazing. So with that, I am going to close this out. I don't know if Anne, you're going to take this back and close it out or not, but I want to thank everybody for their time today, for their attention, for being here. I want to congratulate you because you're taking control and you intentionally chose to be here today to move your life and your business forward. So I just want to say, you know, we're all here together. We all lift each other and work together. It doesn't matter who you are or where you're from. And we wish you all the best of success. So with that, I hope you have a great rest of the weekend. Yay. And if you want to take this back, I'll go ahead and toss it.
Deborah, thank you so much. That was super awesome. Okay. And I know everybody's been taking copious notes, and this is so right on for exactly where we are right now in building and working in depth and having the right mindset and doing the right discipline. So thank you so much for this. And one of the questions that came up was, where can I find this? And guys, I'm excited because thank you to Mr. Chris Burrows. At the end of this training, we always put our training up on the Zealous Facebook group, and you'll have a link for the recording. And then Chris houses it down in the guides. You'll see at the top, Unit 4 is Mastery. So there always is the newest one at the bottom of the list, guys. So you can always go back and check it. And I would say this is one of these special trainings that you're going to want to make sure that everybody in your team has a chance to listen to. So again, let's give a big thank you to Deborah. What a wonderful treat that was today, Deborah. And we look forward to many, many more in the future. Communication, doing all this good stuff together is just so freaking awesome and so zealous. Our culture is about coming together, working together, having our leadership come together and to share all this amazing talent. So once again, guys, have a great week ahead and let's go out there and rock and roll. Thanks, Chris. Thanks, Deborah.